Hey folks, welcome into Pro Football Ireland on a special day from Croke Park in Dublin. The arena, the Mecca, the Gladiator Arena. I'm really going at one now. Got a Tyrone man, a Kildare man here, McQuaid and Mark Hogan. Not too often us lads are in Croker, but a special day today because the Pittsburgh Steelers are celebrating their NFL Global Markets Programme. How are you doing? You good?
There's a pinch yourself moment as a GA fan, as an NFL fan, and behind the scenes here, because I think it's so important that it's the Steelers that come. And I said this to you on Tuesday, and if you missed the podcast then, I think it's so important that it's the Steelers. I think we can take great pride in them, but it's that shamrock on the jersey means so much to them, and I think it means so much to us as Irish people that you have to be so proud to see them in the country, and they officially have a presence now. So yeah, over the moon, Michael.
It's went well. Before we show some highlights of the press conference and some of the guys we spoke to, come on, we have to do it. What's your favourite ever memory in Croke Park? Gaelic, non-Gaelic? There's been different concerts. Westlife? Taylor Swift? Go for it.
It's so funny that you say this because it's so true, because this is a moment that as an NFL fan, it's going to stay with us. We don't know where this is going. It's of course going up, but like in 50 years from now, this is the day that the Steelers came back to Dublin, which is absolutely insane. Gives you, hair standing up thinking about it. If I talk about my own personal moments, funnily, if you want to talk about when I met Bill Murray last year at the game, Limerick versus Galway semi-final, that was on a personal note. From a sporting point of view, it would have to be something between Kildare or Galway matches. It's always heartbreak with me. I've never been at a good one, I suppose, or a fantastic moment. But I suppose I sat down on the Davin side when Benny Coulter scored the goal to knock Kildare out of the All-Ireland final with seconds to go in that semi against Down.
You cry.
I burst into tears, but it just shows you how much you can love a sport.
Benny Coulter getting the shout out on Pro Football Ireland. I love it. For me, it has to be Muggsy. For people that haven't a clue what I'm talking about, Owen Mulligan against Dublin, the greatest goal in my opinion ever scored in this ground, in this stadium. We're going to look at the press conference in a wee second. Obviously today, there is a verbal commitment to explore having a game here. We're going to talk about that at the end, but I think a very, very positive day, and fans should be happy so far.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you're watching this, you're probably disappointed that there isn't a game, but there's so much more to unpack here. We'll get into it in some of the highlights, but what we can look forward to, we're leaving here with green towels that will be able to bring with us, and hope that everyone else is able to get their hands on a bit of merchandise or memorabilia. That hasn't been possible before now. There's been no official presence, there's been no official watch parties. We were able to buy the gear in Elvery's and stuff, but to say that the Steelers have been telling us we want to do watch parties, we want to do kicking courses, kicking is obviously so important. This is the next step into where's the next Irishman going to be in the NFL. Everything is happening so fast that we should sit back and think 2-3 years ago, forget about 5 or 10, this was not possible.
It was a dreamland.
And I genuinely mean it, and I've said it a couple of times this week, it's so important the Irish fans do reach out to the Steelers Instagram, Twitter accounts. The Jags made their own separate announcement if you want to follow those, but to show these guys that we do exist and we mean serious business.
Absolutely, and we're going to have a look at some of the highlights of the press conference first off, and then Mark is going to talk to the GM of NFL UK, Henry Hodgson, here on Pro Football Ireland.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome here this morning to Croke Park, the home of GAA. The Irish for welcome is Fáilte. 100,000 welcomes means Céad Míle Fáilte, and we extend a Céad Míle Fáilte to all our friends here from Pittsburgh in the room, those watching us live on stream, and also from watching us from around the world. My name is Grania McElwain, and I am delighted to be your host here today. But before we introduce our guests, can everyone just sit back and relax and enjoy the short video?
For the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is familiar ground. It is the land from which our ancestors came. It is an island we've endeavored to help strengthen and to grow. On this soil, we've taken pride in sharing the game which we love so dearly. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ireland is a special place. It's part of us. It's part of our being. we're proud to say it's not only part of our past, but also our future.
So why are we here today? We are here to celebrate Pittsburgh Steelers receiving rights to expand their brand across the island of Ireland as part of the National Football League's Global Markets Programme. As part of this programme, the Steelers are looking to host a series of events of new and existing fans, such as watch parties, and will work to connect Ireland with Pittsburgh. These rights allow Steelers to bring back some traditions established over many years by the late Dan Rooney, who was the Steelers chairman and also served as US ambassador to Ireland from 2009 to 2012. It also allows the Steelers to start some new traditions, and we look forward to seeing what they will be. You can follow this journey on social media at SteelersIreland, and where further activity will be announced.
Fáilte roibh go léir Cardiff, Cork and Croke Ganúf. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Croke Park on this magnificent spring summer morning. In particular, welcome to Dan Rooney and your group from Pittsburgh. To Kordell, welcome home, welcome back. You had a successful outing here. The last time you were here, you beat the Bears, I think 30 points to 27. I don't know how many touchdowns you threw, but let's hope your successors will be back here throwing a couple of touchdowns in the next couple of years. Deputy Chief of Mission, obviously Michael Clausen as well, to Fáilte Roth. The Rooneys are one of the original families of the NFL, of the dynasty of the NFL. Themselves and the Hallases of Chicago and the Maras of New York, and I believe there might be some interconnections between the Maras and the Rooneys at this stage in life. But they are three of the original families of the NFL, and we're delighted to be associated with them, and such a famous name and such a famous brand in the Steelers as well. The Rooney family contribution to Ireland has been significant, not just in the context of having Ambassador Rooney here for a number of years, but also way back in 1976, Tony O'Reilly and Ambassador Rooney created the Ireland Fund, which has contributed very, very significantly to community, to prosperity and to peace on this island. We're absolutely thrilled with that, obviously, and we're very, very grateful for that contribution over many, many years. Dan Rooney was also the person who introduced the Rooney Rule way back in 2003, I believe, which essentially opened up the coaching ranks to people who might have been excluded from it in a lot of ways, because the coaching cartel was rather closed at the time. And that ties in very, very well, I would suggest to you, with the philosophy of the GEA. Our mantra, as you all know in this room, is where we all belong. So the Rooney Rule and philosophically then, there's a coming together of minds here in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers ethos and the GEA ethos, and long may that continue. And we're obviously looking to further and deepen our relationship on a business sense and on a personal sense, and on a philosophical sense as well. So to Dan and to his group and to the NFL Europe and to everybody else who's here, Fáilte Roth go léir. We're looking forward to working with you over many years, and we are looking forward to Kordell Stewart's success of throwing a couple of touchdown passes here.
Good morning. We appreciate everyone coming today. Thank you to our current U.S. partners who were able to join us for this special occasion. Also, thanks to our friends at the NFL UK and NFL Europe for their strong support throughout this process. Welcome to the Deputy of Sport and Tourism, and to Mike Clausen, Deputy Chief of Mission of the U.S. Embassy. A big shout out to Kordell Stewart for making the trip back over with us today for another exciting day at Croke Park. Last time Kordell was in the stadium, he was the starting quarterback for the Steelers. And finally, a sincere thanks to the folks at Croke Park and the GAA for helping make this event possible. Ireland has always had an important place for the Rooney family. My ancestors immigrated from Newry in the 1840s, and like so many Irish at that time, left for a new life in the United States, eventually settling in a developing city in western Pennsylvania. That place was called Pittsburgh. With our family roots ingrained, my great-grandfather, Art Rooney Sr., or as many know him as the Chief, founded the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1933. The early years for the Steelers were tough, with very few wins to draw upon. However, through unwavering hard work and a commitment to doing things the right way, our luck began to change in the 1970s. 4 Super Bowl championships later, the Steelers became the heartbeat of Pittsburgh and a symbol of pride in our region. This blue-collar approach that my great-grandfather started was carried on by my grandfather, Dan Rooney, who many in this room remember fondly today. Ireland was a significant part of my grandfather's life in particular. The pride he held for his Irish heritage led him to co-found the Ireland Fund in 1976. My family and the Steelers organization still support the funds in the pillars they stand for: peace, culture, and charity. My grandfather's career was highlighted by 6 Super Bowls, and like his father, an induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. However, an achievement that stands right up there with those was his time serving as U.S. Ambassador to Ireland. This great honor, bestowed upon him by President Barack Obama, provided him with a unique opportunity later in life to spend more time in Ireland and to get to know its people better, all across the island. He proudly set and fulfilled a goal to become the first ambassador to visit all 32 counties. His time as ambassador also allowed him to extend the game he loves so much, American football, to the people of Ireland. I was fortunate enough to play in one of the flag games that was held by my grandfather on the 4th of July. I also was in attendance for the Steelers game held here at Croke Park in 1997. We got to watch Kordell, Jerome Bettis, and the rest of the 97 Steelers take home a Waterford Crystal Trophy that my grandmother happened to find quite beautiful. She mentioned that to my grandfather leading up to the game, and as our head coach at the time, Bill Cower, remembers, put some pressure on the team to get that crystal back to Pittsburgh. I'm proud to say that piece still sits in our facility just down from our Lombardi trophies. When the opportunity arose for NFL teams to become more active in countries outside the U.S., the Steelers could not have been more excited to reestablish the traditions my grandfather so proudly established here in Ireland, as well as to bring forth new ones. There are people here in this room today who have played an important role for my family and our place in Ireland over the years. And we look forward to working with you and many more friends in years to come. We look forward to engaging Ireland with our fans across the island, those that are already members of Steelers Nation twirling their terrible towels, or new fans that will learn about the Steelers through the events and initiatives we plan to bring. Ireland is a place to my family that is important, and we thank you guys for being here. Go Steelers.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, friends of sport, friends of American football, friends of Ireland and the island of Ireland. I'd just like to say how delighted we are to be here present in Dublin on this really special launch day. It's special for the Rooney family, special for the Steelers, and it's really special for the NFL. No one's commented on the weather, which is unusual in Dublin. I'd like to say I actually worked here for 9 years, and I can confirm that it's like this every day in Dublin. It's important, I think, for me to convey that NFL ownership and the Commissioner really do have a strong commitment and ambition to continue connecting with and growing our fan base internationally. It really is to ensure that we continue to be a truly global sports property. And we're also very aware of the strong passion that exists in Ireland for American football and the NFL across the entire island. And that passion, we know the Steelers are going to help to grow even more over the coming years, and that's what's important about today. The NFL itself will continue to grow our international fan base, especially in Europe and the UK, where it's grown substantially in recent years. Indeed, later this year, we're going to see 5 games for the very first time, 5 regular season games in Europe for the first time. We've never had that many games. There'll be 3 in London, 2 at Tottenham, 1 at Wembley, 2 in Frankfurt for the first time, as we follow Munich's game last year, which was an opener for that market. And these games help deepen the relationship with fans, the NFL and American football. They're very, very important events for our fan base. But it's one thing to be an NFL fan, but when you become a fan of a club, we know that that love, that connection, that engagement deepens and is far more important. The casual fan likes the NFL, the avid fan loves the club and loves the players from the club, and that difference is a really important one for us. And that's why it's so important that clubs like the Steelers are really stepping up and engaging with the fan base internationally. It's a really important part of our global strategy. And the Global Markets Program, which was mentioned before, was founded on that insight. It allows clubs to bid for and be awarded commercial and marketing rights in the countries of their choice. As of now, there are 21 clubs working actually across 14 markets internationally, building their brands and building their fans in that market. And among those relationships, I'd have to say it'd be very hard, if possible at all, to find a more natural and authentic fit than the Steelers doing this in the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. It's just that we've seen all of the heritage, it's such a perfect fit. There are so many connections, obviously the family's heritage, the Steelers organising that first and only game so far in Ireland. And we know that Kordell was there putting his body on the line. And we can hear some more stories about that afterwards. And of course, the philanthropy of the Ireland funds as well. Deep connection that the fans really notice. Fans understand authenticity, and this connection is going to be really strong for the Steelers and the island of Ireland. The enhanced presence of the Steelers across this sports-loving island, or should we say sports-mad island of Ireland, is another example of the family's commitment to this area. And we look forward to working with the Steelers and to grow their brand here and provide some exciting opportunities for current NFL fans and new NFL fans to connect their passion with the Steelers. So thank you all for being here today on behalf of the NFL, and we'd like to thank the Rooney family and the Steelers for choosing the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Thank you very much.
Mark Hogan with Pro Football Ireland here with a recognisable face now at this point, Henry Hodgson, General Manager of NFL UK. Henry, you've given a gift to everyone in Ireland this week pretty much. We've been so excited. What has happened, I suppose, this week is massive for us, but what does it really mean, I suppose, is the basic question. What does it mean for the island of Ireland having the Steelers here?
Yeah, well, first of all, I clarify, definitely not me giving the gift. It's the Steelers themselves. But I think what it means, to answer your question, is that you're going to see a lot of the Steelers here and being more present. The Global Market Program was set up so that clubs could market themselves and grow their brands and grow their fan bases around the world. The Steelers coming to Ireland means they're going to be doing exactly that here. And I think the really cool thing about it is the Steelers already have that natural, authentic link to the island of Ireland because of the family's ties here and the efforts that they've put in many, many different ways. So for them, I think coming here, you're going to see those authentic ties really come to life. There'll be watch parties, there'll be all kinds of events. I should think they'll bring players on tours at some point. Certainly don't want to put words in their mouths, but that's really what we've seen from other markets. And I know from speaking to them, during the course of the planning for this as well, one area that they really kind of think is an important part of it is the participation and flag football in particular. So I think you can also expect to see the Steelers doing something in that area in Ireland as well.
And you mentioned such an important word, and it was authenticity.
Yep.
Ireland, the market of it is much smaller than a lot of the other global markets that the NFL has entered into, which from a commercial point of view maybe doesn't seem to scream that, oh, you should come here. Why was Ireland so important? Was it because of that authenticity from the Steelers aspect, or is it that we're that kind of fan that you wanted to, be a part of too?
Look, I think I've worked with the Steelers over the last few years in different roles across international, and they've been very focused as really one of those kind of top teams, top franchises in the NFL. And knowing that they have an international fan base and growing and being able to develop that fan base internationally. When we launched the program about a year ago, Mexico was the most obvious market for them because they have a very, very established fan base there because of their success during the 1970s. But all the way through that period, even when they were doing that, Ireland was on their mind. And again, it comes down to those family ties and the history of the Rooney family, coming from Ireland and then coming back here with Mr. Rooney as the ambassador to Ireland. So I think it's authentic. It's a love and a deep connection with the countries, and that's why they wanted to be back here, and that's why you're going to see them really committed to the market. This is absolutely about the authentic connection. It's not anything more than that.
Yeah, and we can absolutely be excited for everything that you mentioned there, the likes of perhaps players coming over. The watch party is super exciting. We have seen teams that have gone into other markets doing that, bringing maybe its media personalities over to begin with, and we can kind of be excited for that. But I suppose I have to ask, what's the importance of being in Croke Park specifically? Of course, we have the Aviva that has the college game. It just is that tie. There's nothing more to it than that right now.
Yeah.
That's why we're in Croke Park.
I mean, the tie is that obviously it's a fantastic facility, and also the tie is that they did play here in 1997 in that amazing preseason game. So I think that's the tie. Certainly there are inferences that could be drawn from it, but I think for now it was really a great venue to host this type of event and to host the announcement as a backdrop.
Yeah, and I suppose we'll leave it on this. Why is it now? Why is now the time to, I suppose, the NFL to see teams coming into Ireland? Is it that we've made enough noise, I suppose, on our social medias and stuff like that as fans, that I suppose we always encourage people to, whether it's the NFL Steelers account, the Jags obviously in a separate announcement have come to Ireland this week. We're always with Pro Football Ireland encouraging everyone to kind of engage with the sport. And have people taken note of that, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely plays a part. I think the fact that there are some very well established and well known brands like yourselves who are making that noise, I think has certainly helped. And it doesn't go without being noticed at the very highest levels. The Steelers, when we first started talking about this process with them, were aware of what you guys are doing. We're aware of the depth of fandom here and just how passionate Irish fans are. And so yes, I think anywhere in the world there's more and more recognition that internationally the sport is growing really fast. The fans are really passionate, and to serve those fans by doing these types of things is the way forward, and it's the way to continue that momentum. Yeah,
so I suppose off the back of today's announcement, I suppose great pride from NFL fans in Ireland. I'm thrilled for all of you guys watching this because it is massive, and like that we've heard from so many people today, I think you included, about how even in the last 10 years it's grown so much. So I know some people are probably disappointed maybe that a game wasn't announced today, but I think that we can be so happy with what we're getting. And I suppose you guys that are listening, obviously we appreciate your support, but it's great to hear that you guys appreciate that as well, because the NFL is just growing so much in this country that way to go, you guys too. Henry, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, folks, next up on Pro Football Ireland is the NFL head of Europe, Brett Gosper. Brett, good to see you again, as always.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here in Dublin.
Good to be here in Dublin. You are a man that is very used to this city, opposite your times with World Rugby. This stadium's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's a fantastic stadium. We spent a bit of time here on the bid process when Ireland did an excellent bid for the World Cup, and Croke Park and the Aviva were very central in that bid, and both passed any test with flying colours. So it's a fantastic place.
Talk to us. Let's look at the global markets. Overall for Europe, a very successful launch this week. If I'm correct, the Falcons in Germany, France getting their first team with the Saints also.
Correct.
Since you've come in over the last 18 to 24 months. I know it used to be the IHMA agreement. This has went to different levels, and you can really see that this week with the buy-in from teams also.
Yeah, look, there's definitely a gathering of momentum from the clubs. I think no one's rejecting the notion that they also will join in at some point with the markets that they choose. I think some of them are just, it's a timing thing. We'll wait to see what happens and so on. But I think the general feeling is it's so far so good. There's a lot of learning happening, what works, what doesn't work. And some clubs are going at it in a way that's probably more positive than others. They're more engaged, but where clubs are well engaged, it works very well, and it's raising the noise level of the NFL across markets and engaging fans more deeply, because we know that fans who have a club are much more engaged with the sport than those that just simply like the NFL and like watching games.
I think for a lot of people, fans in Europe, seeing what is going on with different teams in Germany, Mark, why seeing the Jets and the Bears girls flag football in the UK, it shows you the real benefits and fan connections that can be made in such a short period of time. And that's why a lot of people are very happy this week, not only to see the Steelers come in, but to make such a commitment to come over here within days, to have this event. to set Croke Park up, which is an institution here, hosting a game this Sunday as well, Dublin against Roscommon. It's went very well, and the Steelers are a perfect fit for this market.
Oh, they have a very authentic and real connection with this market over a long period of time. The family, the owners of the Steelers, and that's a very real connection. I think the fans probably know that already without this launch today. But this is actually the first club that's done an in-market launch of the Global Markets program, and I think it's really raised the profile in the way we'd like it to be raised, and it's really good for the Steelers. They've done a brilliant job.
It's been great to see that launch as well, and just sort of see the people here and the buzz. The buzz around social media this week has been insane. Fantastic. You can imagine, this is my last question, what I'm going to ask you here now. Some of the DMs I'm getting is crazy this week. There is a commitment to explore potentially having a game here. I mean, it ticks all the boxes, doesn't it? It's just hopefully trying to find the right way.
Yeah, I don't think there are any obstacles. It's a question of timing, and I think it is in their long-term plans to investigate the possibility of a game here and so on. They've got a lot of things to put in place before then, but there's certainly no obstacles structurally, infrastructurally, fans, whatever. Everything's here for that possibility one day. So let's see where the Steelers go.
Absolutely, and look, wish you the very, very best this season. 5 international games, 2 in Frankfurt. We'll see you in Frankfurt also, hopefully, please God.
Yeah, for the first time. Yeah. But 5 for the first time. Most games we've ever had in Europe, so one country's bad luck's out, good luck. The stadium Azteca being renovated at that time gives us an extra game in Europe, and it's good news.
Frankfurt's going to be great, and the London games were excellent as well. Thank you for what you and I know NFL UK are doing as well throughout Europe, and it shows you with the dividends today seeing something like this. So wish you the very, very best over the rest of the pre-season, and before you know it, there'll be a ball kick in September, hopefully here in a couple of years' time, please God. Thank you very much, Brett.
Thank you.
Back here in Croke Park with the guy who was the quarterback for the Steelers in 1997 against the Chicago Bears, Kordell Stewart. Kordell, Falcha, welcome to Ireland. How are you doing, my friend?
Thank you kindly. Kind of just getting over a little jet lag, a little bit. I ended up coming in yesterday morning, 7-hour flight. Thought I could handle it by maybe getting only an hour and a half rest on the plane, and had a rough sleep last night. I think tonight might be the night where I actually can get a really good night rest.
You were in here in 97.
Yep.
It's changed a little bit. What did you think when you came in here again?
A lot. Well, if you can remember behind us, that's the east side of the stadium. That's the only side that was here.
Yes.
We didn't have the south and the west side and also the Hill 16 over here on the north side. We didn't have that. So it's grown tremendously. And to see that it seats up to 80,000+ people is an outstanding venue to have an American football game here. So it's gotten itself prepared to be able to handle it. Being that I was on a team where we were blindfolders, right? We had a routine of what we did, where we were going, the things that we had assigned to us. You couldn't get a chance to explore as much as you would have liked to, considering. But now that I'm here in a different manner, it's really beautiful here, to say the least, and the skies are blue this time. I think the cab driver said it only happened maybe a couple times out of the year, and I think we got one of the couple times that it actually happened.
I live up near Belfast. I know you're going there tomorrow.
Yep.
It might not be as sunny up there, so we'll definitely see tomorrow. Look, I'd love to know this. We spoke to Bill Cower, I think, last year, and he was talking about they wanted to win that trophy for Dan and his wife.
Yes.
What was the night before like whenever he sort of said to you guys, because for you guys back then a preseason game was a preseason game, but this had a bit of a difference. It was let's win that Waterford Crystal Trophy for the Rooney family.
Well, knowing the Rooney family and the history dating back to the 1800s with the great-great-grandfather of Mr. Dan Rooney, late Dan Rooney, and the things he did starting in 1976 with the Ireland Fund and how that's been injected into the island,
yes,
throughout over 32 counties when it comes to culture, peace, and heritage. He's done an outstanding, and it's all about togetherness, right? When you have that in place, to be able to take something home that's so significant to this country, let alone to the family, and what it would mean to them, it almost like it had to be done. I only played, one quarter? I think I was like 7 of 11 for 131 yards, up 10-0. Came
got
out
it.
after the first
You've
quarter.
got it there.
Yeah, I did my homework a little bit, didn't I? But end up coming out, and I think Mike Tomczak and whoever else was there, I think had an opportunity to play. But it was a great game against Chicago. Great opportunity to go on the road again. The year prior, we went to the Japan Bowl in 1996. Came here in 97, and then later had a chance to go to Mexico City to play in that bowl game in 1999 against the Indianapolis Colts, which was led by Peyton Manning. So the Rooney's done a great job of taking this brand and taking it abroad. And now that we see that the National Football League is doing the same with games going to London, regular season games going to London, I'm here that there's an opportunity that there may be a regular season game here in Ireland, and hopefully it's the Steelers that's involved in that.
Well, here's my last question for you. Could we see Kenny Pickett run out here with
Most
the Steelers?
definitely. When, I couldn't tell you. But for sure it can happen. I think through the, via due diligence with the National Football League and the committees here, it can happen. I think it will. It's just a matter, I know, from an anxiety standpoint of when. But the venue is big enough, 80,000+ seats here. Don't forget about over here,
the Hill as well,
Hill 16, which is historically a great spot to be, standing only. But it fits everything that's needed to host a regular season game, and I know that the country would be happy about it. I know the Steelers would really be ecstatic about it, and the other team that actually have a chance to come here too. And it would be a great look for the National Football League as well.
Well, Kordell, Gurmia Magat, I thank you. Enjoy your time in Ireland, and hopefully see you here very soon again.
Thank you, Cameron. Yes.
I am delighted to be joined here by Dan Rooney Jr. of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan, it's great to see you again. How are you doing? Welcome to Ireland.
Doing great. Happy to be here. It's been a fun day so far.
It's been a fun day. It's been a fun week. You guys launched on Tuesday with the NFL Global Markets Program, a real great initiative for the thousands, tens upon thousands of fans that love the NFL in Ireland. And the Steelers are at the forefront of that this week. How have you found the week so far?
The week has been great. The support we saw here was special, from the Steelers fans in attendance to some of the groups that we've been speaking with throughout this process. We had NFL UK, NFL Europe here, so the support is a sign of a special opportunity.
Talk to us about the benefits that this can give, not just the Steelers, but fans in Ireland. We've had a lot of people asking us over the last few days, could this mean potentially having a watch party this season, or maybe something around the draft next year, or is it also a TBC?
No, I think what we've done in Mexico is the best example of what the Irish can expect from this. It's a watch party. It's draft announcements, as you said. It's bringing players down for camps. It's hosting kicking clinics. There's a lot to expect out of this opportunity.
It is great to see already. Even one weekend, we've seen Paddy Clifford, GA player, going around with his jersey earlier on, and just your speech when you were talking around the Rooney family, and for anyone watching this outside of Ireland or even in the UK, Ireland runs through your blood. And I know you're going to have a chance to pass through Newry tomorrow, going up to Belfast. Will you stop off maybe and have a look at the homeland almost?
Yeah, we're going through Newry tomorrow. I don't have a memory of my last trip there, so it's going to be very special for me to see where the heritage is from.
Let's end on the obvious question. We've seen on the fantastic part of the website, Steelers.com/Ireland this week, that there is a commitment to explore potentially playing a game in the future. You have an initial 5-year period. Is the hope to do it in that 5 years, I guess, is the best question to ask?
We don't have a timeline on a game being played, but a part of our strategy in any international market is to play a game. So there's a long-term goal of playing a game here.
Great. It's fantastic to see, and I know, Dan, I speak on behalf of a lot of fans in Ireland. We thank you, appreciate what you guys are doing this week. It's fantastic, and we look forward to not just the season, but the next 3 to 4 to 5 years.
Bright future ahead. We're looking forward to it.
Gurmia Magat, thank you, and enjoy your time in Ireland, Dan. Thank you.
Great.
What a day that was, eh? The day the NFL came back to Croke Park since 1997. I was 6 years old in 97. How old were you in 97?
In 97, I was 4 years old.
4 years old. Did you go to the game, or?
Was I at? No, it's one of those things that when the Steelers were in Croke Park, when Muhammad Ali had his fight in Croke Park, when the Special Olympics were in Croke Park, I think that this is one of those events that when you're walking through the premium section, certainly, or other parts of Croke Park, they're going to have pictures of this day living in Croke Park now forever.
I think, and look, if you're not a Steelers fan, I think it's important that people get on board with this and support the teams that are coming into this market, including the Jaguars. I'll openly say, I said Dan Rooney was looking down today, smiling, because what the Steelers done today, what they brought over here is remarkable for such a small project to come over for a start. NFL UK involved, NFL Europe involved, so it was just great to see. I guess the highlight for me was chatting to Dan Rooney Jr. What was your sort of highlight from the press conference that you enjoyed?
Well, do you know, I love talking to Dan off camera as well, and be able to, you know, look the man in the eye and shake his hand and see he means business. It is that, you know, green that's in his blood, really. Like, you can see when he's talking about it. He's telling us about his plans to go back to, you know, where his family was originally from in Newry while he's back on this trip, and he really does know his history. Like, he knows that game better than I do. That obviously happened in 1997. So it means so much then that I think I've already said it 100 times today, but these guys are so proud to be here, and it makes you proud to be an NFL fan that we all got this across the line as well as they themselves.
Great to hear from players, for example, Kordell, who actually played here in 97. And the stadium's a lot different now as well. I guess the one thing people want to know about, it gives the Steelers marketing rights here. They can advertise, they can have events, watch parties, fan events, maybe something around the draft next year. And we're looking, obviously, long term at a game here. Hopefully, they can't confirm that, but I think it's pretty much, in stone if you're coming over here, and if you've got Larry McCarthy having a little chat today. I think it's going to happen in the next 5 years.
We heard what Henry said, that it is not guaranteed or it's not being given, but there is a look to all of this. The fact that it's in Croke Park, the fact that there's goalposts behind us on the hallowed turf of Croke Park, that we can all, look forward to it without openly saying that it's definitely coming. So, I mean, look, you take that and run with it all day long.
I'll say this, it's been a great day. I think, not just for today, but for the last few weeks. A massive thanks to NFL UK and for NFL Europe for their support with the London games release, Germany games release, and this. It genuinely means an awful lot. Not just us, but fans in Ireland as well. It gets them more closer to the game. I want to thank Matthew Rosenell, our videographer, MRN Photography, who done this late notice because it was all under wraps, this. Really appreciate Matthew. Do check him out if you have any interest in this sort of field. And follow us at NFL Ireland on social media. Get involved with all these accounts. The accounts at Steelers Ireland and at Jaguars UK and IRE. It's important that people do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. We have to show the support back. They're after making a commitment to us, so let's, get behind it. And, it's so easy to say that. And, people can be too cool for it or whatever and worry about their looking. I'm so excited that we can follow it now. And they're official accounts, which you would have bitten your arm off for. And, let's not look for what's next now. Let's appreciate what has happened here today, because we've gotten a lot of commitments for other things, like those different events, like draft parties. We should all be thrilled.
Well, let's leave it at this. For people that aren't here today and haven't had the chance to do this, people maybe haven't been to Croke Park before, take it in my word, this is a perfect stadium for the NFL. The pitch looks fantastic, and they've got a really good size end zone as well. And we're hearing, if they get a game, the hill could be standing. I'll leave that with you.
Might be the biggest news today.
Could be the biggest. Could you imagine the hill standing? It's going to be some crack. TBC, obviously, if we got a game. This has been great crack. Looking forward to seeing you, Michaela, Jason, the whole college crew, everybody. Domestic game over the summer. This is probably, for us in person, the last one we're going to have until the season gets underway or the college game gets underway. Great to see that sell out this week. Michael McQuaid, Mark Hogan, Pro Football Ireland, reporting from Croke Park. Going to be Margaret. Iowa, if you're watching this at night time, I thank you for listening on the podcast, and we'll chat to you soon.